All right, so we are here for another episode of Tales, and this week we had the song Bodak Yellow by Cardi B. This episode had Justine Skye, Romeo Miller, and a few other people, and Rashida was also in the episode. So, obviously, it's Tales, so of course, where do we meet other than a strip club? Obviously. I mean, the song is Bodak Yellow, so I mean, you kind of whatever. But anyway, so we start off in the strip club. We see Justine. She's dancing and she's talking about, just how, stripping is not just stripping, it's power, it's all this stuff or whatever. But basically, we see her, she starts off in the dressing room and she's rapping. And she's an aspiring rapper. Stripper, wanting to be a rapper, trying to make a better life, that type of story. So she's trying to be on the come up, change her life, change her family's life, that type of thing. She goes out to dance. We see Little Duval. He's also in the episode. His name is Ricky. He seems to be like a little stalker, maybe. One of the things she said was like, people always want to say they can change your life and they can help you out of it, but they don't want you to do that. She's just, trying to make a living. And of course, that's the type of guy he was. We also meet Rocco, who is the owner and her boss. I don't like him. He seemed like he had like a little attitude problem, like he was just rude. So we are introduced to him and we see that there's a little conflict between him and Justine, which her name was Violet in the show. So, she's going on or whatever, and then a guy named Ryder comes in. He seems to be a regular, and Ryder is played by Romeo. He's like this construction guy who does music on the side, but he's a regular. Apparently he has a little thing for her, obviously, and she gives him a little dance, but he also like shows her his music or lets her listen to it, and then she's like, yo, we gotta work together. I got some good lyrics that we could do, and so that's kind of how this relationship is kind of going with them two. So anyways, while all this is going on, this is just a side note. I don't know if anybody else notices, but there's like another dance going on in the background, and like every time they would switch the angle of the cameras, like she was like in a different spot, and I don't know why that bothered me, but maybe it's just because like I noticed that type of stuff, but probably nobody else noticed it, but I just thought it was funny. Anyway, so they agree they're going to work on the song together. Well, he's on his way out of the club, and apparently he owes money to Rocco, the owner of the strip club. Don't know why, but he owes him some money, and Rocco wants his money back. So that'll come back later. Then we get to Justine, or Violet, sorry. She's going back home. Apparently she lives with her best friend, who is also a stripper at the club. Forgot to mention her. And her 16-year-old sister. So she takes care of her sister because apparently something happened to the mom when they were younger or something like that. And that's why she strips, so she can take care of her sister, take care of the house. And her sister keeps getting in trouble, keeps getting kicked out of school for fighting. We don't really know why she's fighting, but apparently she's fighting. So, her and her best friend, like they cool, but they kind of going back and forth because her best friend is really getting deep in the stripper world. And it was supposed to be just like a temporary thing, but of course the money is too good. So, they kind of have a little tension there. But anyways, the next day, Violet is on her way somewhere. She's walking down the street, and of course Ryder shows up. So Ryder's there, they're having a little conversation. It's obviously flirtatious, and then, he's like, I'm ready to get in the studio. She's ready to get in the studio. So they move forward. So they get to the studio. She's acting like, she don't really know what to do. She's kind of nervous. Of course, he's there to help her out. It takes a couple of times. And then, she like kills the song. Yeah, it was great. The song was wonderful. I get it. It's TV. I get it. But they were like, the song was great. It sounded wonderful. Okay, cool, whatever. So he agrees that like, he's gonna mix and master the song, and then they're gonna, do whatever. She's getting ready for a competition or some type of showcase at this club where CE Ultra, who is like the biggest and best rapper out, is going to be performing. So she's going to go take it there, and he's supposed to, they're all supposed to work together for this. So that's the whole main goal, so she can get the attention of CE Ultra. So in between her going to work and, them in the club or whatever, her sister and her best friend are like, you need to get the masters of your tape because you just don't know how people are. And they're like, you just never know. You know how the music business is. So she's like, all right, cool. She calling him, texting him. He's like, I'll bring the masters tonight. Don't worry. So he brings the masters to the club. Well, before he can get to her, Rocco sees him. Rocco already told him, don't come back in this club unless you got his money. So, of course, he did. So Rocco takes him out back with him and his people, and they're like, look, he's beating him up, and he's like, I'm going to kill you because you're not giving me my money. And then Romeo, or Ryder, whatever you want to call him, he's like, no, wait, I have the masters to this song, and it's going to blow up. So basically, he was about to get shot, and he decided to throw her under the bus and sell her masters to him. So he took the masters, and now he has more control over Violet than he did before. So Ryder, of course, was like, man, forget that. You can have this tape. You can have whatever you need because I'm not trying to die, okay? So he gives the song to Rocco. Rocco, of course, goes back in and talks to her and is like, hi, look what I got. I'm holding this over your head. And she's like, what do you want me to do? I'll do anything. And of course, she's going to make her work for that. And on top of all of that, she's on her way to this little competition, and she gets a call, and her principal has suspended her sister again for fighting, and everything is just going wrong basically. So she gets inside of the club to go do this appearance or whatever, and then Ryder's like, you gotta let me explain, he was gonna kill me, he's the one that invested in the studio. So apparently Rocco's the one that gave Ryder money to open this little studio that he has, but he hasn't paid him back because he ain't had the money to pay him back because he ain't made no real artists. So anyways, she's upset, obviously, but she's like, forget it, just play my song and let's do this. So she gets on stage, she does good. Then CE Ultra gets up and battles her, which CE Ultra is Rashida. It's the first time I've seen Rashida been rapping, since the bubblegum and all that stuff back in the day. But, that was that. And basically CE Ultra won, and then she leaves and goes back home, and she's upset. And she gets into it with her sister, because she's like, how was school? And her sister was like, it was fine, but she was lying because she got kicked out of school. And then her best friend was talking. She was like, look, give her a chance, like, let her talk. And then she kind of said some rude stuff to her. Basically was like, you ain't family. And then she slapped her sister because her sister was like, you don't even know why I'm fighting. And then she just slapped her or whatever. But yeah, so they got into it about that. And then quickly after, she went outside to go talk to her sister and kind of make up with her sister. So now her friend is gone. She's upset because she was like, you disrespected me, you said some rude stuff. Her sister and her talk and make up, and then come to find out the only reason she's fighting people is because they found out her sister's a stripper. So then this dude was like throwing dollars at her and, just being disrespectful as usual, because, people just can't mind their own business. So that's why she was fighting, and then they kind of make up, and she's like, look, you ain't got to worry about that, whatever. And then she has to go back to the club. So she has to figure out like how to make this work and how to get her masters back. One of the things Rocco was like, you're gonna have to work and do what I tell you to do. She never wanted to give Ricky, who was played by Little Duval, a lap dance because he was just weird. He was a creep, right? So he was like, well, you need to do what I tell you to do. So she had to give Ricky a lap dance. And of course, he was a creep, so he does creep things. And she ended up slapping him, I think. Or maybe she punched him. I don't know. She hit him in the face. Regardless, it was bad. And then Rocco found out, and he was like, oh, he was all up in her face. They was yelling and stuff, and she was about to like get fired, I think. But then CE Ultra comes in and was like, no, I want to pay for a dance with her. So come to find out, she only came there because she was like, you were really good. You're a good rapper. I want you to come on tour with me. It's going to be a crappy spot. You're going to be first. You're not going to get paid a lot, but I'm trying to get you out of here and help you out. So basically all is well. She gets this job on the tour. She gets to do her music, whatever. And 6 months later, she comes back to the club. Her best friend is dancing. And then she comes up there with like this whole like duffel bag full of money, right? And then the sister, not the sister, her friend or whatever was like, oh, are you going to apologize? She's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Basically, she hires her to be like a choreographer. And then I guess she comes and like, I guess hires the rest of the girls that were strippers too to do something on the tour. I don't know. But anyway, she saves the day. They all like walk out in front of Rocco and he's like, no. And his business is like, no. And that was basically the episode. So basically that was it. This was probably, which I hate to say this, probably my least favorite. I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know why. It just wasn't there for me. It was okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with the people in it, but it just wasn't, I don't know, I guess it was typical or whatever you want to say, but I wasn't feeling it. But I want to know what you guys think. You know, tell me in the comments. Did you like it? What did you like? Say something. Get in the comments. Let's talk about it. And I'll see you next week.